Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. My name is Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today I want to talk about if you are entering college, what should you be studying to get a good tech job when you get out? So this stems from a question that I received from Ramsey J. Lewis. As a young person in technology who's already in the field, what degrees would you see most useful for employees? Computer science versus cybersecurity or something else? So everyone that is in college right now is probably not going to like this answer. It doesn't matter. That's what degree you have is completely irrelevant. And I know you really don't want to hear that. I went through my background. Actually, I have a double major. One of my majors was in Japanese business linguistics. You don't see me doing anything Japanese related whatsoever, right? So the major you have really doesn't matter. It helps, and especially if you're just starting out to get that first job. But like it really doesn't matter. Your GPA, please don't put your GPA on your resume. That's another thing I see every once in a while, like, you know, when kids are getting out of college and they don't really have any experience, like, oh, I got a 3.85 in math, and like, no one cares. I can promise you right now, no one is looking at your resume and being like, oh, that's cool. The education part of a resume is at the very bottom. So that shows you how important it is when it comes to people reviewing the resumes. And I've probably reviewed thousands of resumes and interviewed people for over 2 decades now, purely for IT, cybersecurity, for consultancy, for employment, all kinds of fun stuff. I've also done tech outs, where we vet people to see if they actually know the stuff on the resume. So that's something, if you're not aware of, that happens regularly. So if you're applying for a tech position, you send them your resume and they say, oh, this sounds good. The first thing you're going to wind up doing is getting teched out. They're going to quiz you on your resume to see, hey, do you actually know this stuff, or do you just put it on there?
To start with, the bottom stair is a roundel that does a 180 into the newel post. Banister has a 90-degree easement, and it dies into the inside face of the newel post.
90-degree easement. See, that's going to be a problem.
What's the problem?
Well, we lied on our resume. We know nothing about construction.
When is lunch?
You're fired.
So you don't necessarily have to know it 100% and be like, I am an expert in this thing, so therefore, like, no, if you know anything about it, put it on your resume. If you're interested in it and passionate about it and you know a little bit, put it on your resume, because you'll be willing to learn. And honestly, most of the times to this stuff, unless it's something like, oh, I know Python, it's like, okay, well, you really kind of need to know Python to say you know Python. But if you're just like, oh, I know LDAPs and I know how to use an LDAP, it's like, okay, you really don't need to be an expert in LDAP systems. But if you know about it, that's another plus. It's like, oh, that's cool. They know about LDAP. That's great. And I can ask you what it is. You're like, oh, it's a directory used to store information for reading from for large corporate structures. Okay, great. Move on. The more buzzwords that you can put that click to the job that you want is going to get your resume boosted up to the top of the list. Your education is way down here. What I would strongly recommend is, if you are in college right now or thinking about going into college, get experience. Get a job while you're in college doing something, or internship. It doesn't matter if it's paid or not. Obviously paid is better, because I guarantee you're probably struggling and you need money. But from a perspective of future employers, whether you are paid for that job is not going to matter. The fact that you have real world experience, that is going to get you the job. When applying for a job, the most important thing you can possibly have on your resume is experience. So the sooner you can get that experience going on your resume and actually get references and say, hey, look at what you've done, gold. And you want to say things like, hey, look, by doing this stuff, I implemented this technology, I saved the company this much money. I improved workflows and saved this much time. I was able to reduce the amount of effort to do stuff by this much because of what I've done. Or I developed a new product and I worked on this team and that thing actually wound up getting patented, whatever. So anything where you can show a direct cause to something positive that you did, that's huge. So you want to say like, hey, I've worked on these systems and I've done these things to show your experience, but also you want to show, hey, this, because of that, the company saved 6 months of development time. Because of that, I reduced implementation time by half. Whatever, those types of things, those are big bonuses to put on there too. So what degree, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you could say, hey, I have a cybersecurity degree. I have a master's in whatever. It's cool, but it's kind of the reaction you're going to get is like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. It's just another thing to put on there. But you could, honestly, say, hey, look, I have a degree in ancient Aramaic anthropology. But I worked at Google, and before that I interned at Meta, where I worked on their AI projects and whatever. And you know what your education does? It disappears. It doesn't even matter, because they're going to look at that and be like, oh, well, that's what I'm looking to hire for, and you have experience in that, so therefore you're at the top of the list, and then you're going to get called for the interview. So don't worry too much about your degree. I mean, I feel bad saying this, but I've been saying, I say the exact same thing to everyone every time someone asks me, is just get out. Get your degree and get out. Graduate as quick as you can, just so you have that piece of paper and you can say that you have it, because there's still places out there that require you to have a degree to even be considered for a job, or at least for higher level positions. So it definitely still has some weight to it, and some, mind you, but experience, way more important, drastically more important. I mean, if I were talking to my own kids and they were going to college, and they said, hey, I have an opportunity to go work at this amazing company doing this groundbreaking tech and having fun and learning experience side by side, an apprenticeship under whatever, and doing this thing that I want to do, and this is the field I want to be in, but I'm going to have to take a semester off school. I'd be like, quit, go, do it, because you're going to learn more and you're going to be way more valuable with the experience. I'm not saying go ahead and quit college, kind of, but it really doesn't matter. That's really the end all be all, is your degree absolutely doesn't matter. Your GPA doesn't matter. Just the fact that you have a degree. So get it as quick as you can. It doesn't even matter the university. I mean, yeah, if it's like Harvard or some Ivy League, sure, that's going to have some weight on things. You graduate from MIT and AI, vastly different than if you graduate from community college down the street in Bumbleton, Iowa, right? But if you graduate from a community college with a bachelor's from Bumbleton, Iowa, or, I don't know, Iowa State University, zero difference. Not going to make any difference in the IT world. So my best recommendation, get experience. Start as soon as you can, get into the field you want to be doing stuff, and then just start getting recommendations and build up that network. You're going to make way more money, you're going to get into better jobs faster, and you're going to start climbing that ladder a lot quicker. And that, in my opinion, matters way more than what you studied in college. Because as an employer, when I hire someone, I do not care. Because whatever you learned in school is wrong and old and outdated, right? Like, it's in a textbook. It's already out. The second that textbook comes out, it's already a year and a half late. So, and the people that are teaching you, generally, they have no idea what they're talking about, because they don't work in the real world. You know, there's that saying, those who can't do, teach. It sounds harsh, but there's a reason. It's because if you're teaching computer science, you're not doing it. And unless in this world, in this way, how fast, especially now with the AI and stuff, how quickly everything changes, if you're not in it, actively talking to vendors and playing with the software and implementing it and seeing the reactions and building out these infrastructure and actually hands-on, you do not know what you're talking about. And I'm not going to hire you because you don't know what you're doing. And I'm not going to throw you into a production system with one of our large financial clients if you have no idea what you're doing. I don't care how awesome of a degree and master's and a doctorate you have from cybersecurity and whatever, means nothing. I need to see real world experience to bring you in. Now, I also like to bring people, just this is the other side of that coin, is I also hire people right out of college. They just got their master's or their bachelor's, whatever, in cybersecurity and whatever, and then I train them up. But I know full well that when I bring somebody in, that day one, they know nothing. They think they know a lot because they went to school. And this is why, in case you're wondering, why all like the adults make fun of the college kids, like, oh, we know stuff. It's like, you don't. Because the real world experience is the real education. The college experience is like, okay, you kind of might know something, but not really. So I know full well that when I hire someone right out of college, that I'm going to be training them. I'm going to spend 6 months to a year, maybe more, just to get them up to speed to then put them in somewhere. But I'm down to do that. I'm actually one of the rare employers that actually looks for those types of people, because I'm of the belief system that if I can bring someone in right out of college that's really smart, shows, you know, that they have the will and that they have the passion behind this whole industry, then I know that if I give them certain pieces of information and if I kind of direct them, that they're going to fly. So I'm willing to take the investment from my standpoint and train them up to get them to know this stuff. So therefore, you know, they have the knowledge to go out and become these awesome identity management engineers or whatever it is that we're working on. The problem is most companies aren't going to do that because of that. It's an investment. A lot of people graduate college and think, oh, I have this amazing degree, therefore I deserve a job. Nope. And most companies don't want to do that because they don't want to pay a bunch of money to teach you how to do something when they can just hire someone at a higher salary rate, and then they don't need to teach them anything. They can come in and actually teach them something. So it's rare to find a company that's willing to spend the time and money to educate you in the real world, if you will. But I personally think it's more beneficial. I think you get stronger employees. I think you have more loyal employees. And I think that you wind up building a better ecosystem within the company. So I'm a personal big believer in it, but I'm just telling you what I see out there. And in most companies, they don't care about your degree. I'm sorry. So I hope there's something in here that you take from this and that will help you out. The big thing, like I said, I can't stress it enough, get experience. Right now, if you have never had a job in the IT world and you've just been like working as a waiter or whatever, quit. Right now, quit your job and go find something in the field that you want to do. Even if it's not IT, anything, whatever it is you want to do, get a job in that field, even if it's free, or take a second job if you have to, but get real world experience. I promise you that right there will get you a way better job and a better paying job than any degree that you could possibly get from a college. So there's that. Hope it helps. Later. Hey everyone, you going to Identiverse this year, May 28th and 29th in Las Vegas? We're going to be there, and we're going to make it awesome. How? We're having a scavenger hunt where you can win awesome prizes, hats, cool bottle opener, butterfly knives, awesome whiskey stones that are all custom branded, leather posters, a real weapon, and cool fun stuff like an invite to our private party. The way that you're going to find it is find these little poker chips all over the convention, tap your phone to them, and that's how you're going to start the scavenger hunt. Lots of cool prizes, and not everyone's going to be able to make it. Hope you can do it. I'll see you guys there. Later.